A day in the life of an unemployed person on top of a trampoline with no money, no friends, no job, and nothing to do at all.
What are some indicators of a recession in pop culture? Well, there's the whole dupe culture where people are only buying knockoffs. There's the anti-haul economy where people are telling us what not to buy. Then there's trends where people essentially talk about how broke they are. But are these just random trends, or are they actually good indicators of if we're in a recession? Well, that's what I wanted to find out today. So I've compiled a list of 5 recession indicators that I want to explore and figure out if there's any merit to them. And as we go on, each indicator gets a little bit crazier than the last until we get to the last one, which in my opinion is probably the most wild and crazy of all of them. And while we're not technically in a recession right now, there has been a lot of talk about how we might be going into one, but I actually saw a video similar to this by this creator right here, so credit to her. And I thought this was a very interesting topic to talk about because in pop culture, especially in today's age, it's way different than it's ever been before. I mean, we have social media, and so now we're able to in real time see how a lot of people are acting or how a lot of people are behaving. Because before, like in 2008, for example, we didn't have, TikTok, so people weren't constantly making all of these kind of recession indicator videos. And these were the kind of things that I wanted to talk about. So let's get into the first recession indicator. Indicator 1, loud budgeting. So simply put, this is a trend where people go around essentially flexing how much they're not spending. So the funny thing is, people for the longest time, even like now, even still to this day, they go around flexing how rich they are. Except now there's this whole loud budgeting trend where people are going around pretty much just telling you how to save money, or they're telling you how much they're not spending. So they're just flexing on you by saying they're not spending money, which is so weird. Like, that's a complete 180 from before. Like, people are now in your face saying, look at how much money I'm not spending. Boom, get flexed on. That's what they're doing, which is crazy. I don't know if ever before in history that's been a thing, but now it is, and it's just kind of funny.
Here's 3 ways that I'm using loud budgeting to save money while still seeing my friends and just doing things out in the world. First off, all my friends know that I'm focused on saving money. They also know that I'm down for a fun hangout too, but overall I want to save, and just communicating that can really help. On top of that, I feel like coffee dates is one of the best things that you can do with your friends to catch up and hang out without spending too much money. Another thing that I do is I'm actually in a book club. We meet up once a month and we just do it at each other's houses. We kind of alternate spots. We make homemade appetizers, desserts, something like that. Super low cost, super good fun quality time with, again, not spending very much money.
So to be fair, here she did give us some very useful tips actually. They're very practical, very easy to implement, so that is pretty good. But like I said before, this is a really interesting shift in culture because for the longest ever time, people just flexed how rich they are. Like, they would buy their, fake supercars, fake handbags, fake lives, fake everything, and they would just post about it and flex on you and make everybody feel bad. But now people are trying to flex on you by showing you that they're saving money. Weird flex, but okay. Which is good. It's a good trend. Like, you should save money. You should be frugal. Well, I guess it depends on who you are, but you should be wise with your money is what I mean. And so it's kind of interesting that the culture has shifted in this direction, which I can see how a trend like this is pretty useful because for the most part, it seems like it's supposed to combat the cost of living and how everything's getting much more expensive, like how eggs were super expensive at the beginning of the year because of the dumb chicken flu or whatever it was. L's in the chat for the chicken flu. Like, that's not cool. That's pretty dumb. Where'd that even come from? Where did the chicken flu even come from? I don't know where it came from, but it wiped out everything. Kind of dumb. But I do think this is an indicator because in itself, I think people are wanting to spend a lot less money. And the fact that this is even a trend, it's a thing that's becoming cool, saving money. Since when is saving money cool? The fact that that's a trend now is showing that people are thinking about it a lot more and that they want to save their money. And that kind of behavior where saving money becomes more prevalent, like where it becomes like a cultural thing, you typically see that more in recessions, or at least recessional type behavior. But really that's just the start. So there are these people who tell you how they save money, but then there's a whole nother section of people who actively tell you not to buy things. Indicator 2, the anti-haul economy. This is a trend that's going around in the consumption space, specifically in the de-influencing space, where people are telling you what not to buy. So it's not that they're just saying save money, but they're making content specifically telling you not to buy certain things, or they're telling you to buy alternatives of things. So they're like fighting against buying. They're saying no to buying. They're saying I will not buy. Okay, I won't do it. That's what they're saying. And it pretty much seems like it's a response to overconsumption and the whole haul culture we see it pretty much is a direct response to that.
Let's do a TJ Maxx anti-haul. These beaded purses are definitely a micro trend that's going to go out of style in a few months. Just use a ribbon instead of buying a bow clip. Would you wear these again next summer? Have you ever finished a full bottle of perfume you don't need anymore? Please stop transferring your liquids and foods into containers where you can't see the expiration dates. Putting bows on water bottles is a micro trend if I ever saw one.
This video is so funny to me because she is literally like a total anti-consumer. She's telling people not to buy containers to put things in. She's telling people not to buy more perfume. Then she's pretty much saying that those beaded bags are gonna be ugly in a few months, which, I mean, that's fine. I think they're ugly now, but she's saying it will be in a few months. So she's giving you a little bit of time, but she is not sugarcoating anything. She's getting straight to the point, which is cool. She is picture perfect de-influencer. And again, similar to the last point, I believe that this points to a recession, or at least can indicate maybe recessive behavior by showing that people really just want to spend money. I mean, oh wait, that they don't want to spend money. People don't want to spend money. Oh no, oh no. They don't want to spend money. That's what I meant to say. And again, this is a type of behavior that is seen in recessions where people just don't want to buy things. They want to be more mindful of what they're spending their money on. And the funny thing is that this type of behavior can definitely be seen in the way that value brands sales have been consistently increasing over the last few years. But even with all of this, can saving money sometimes go a little too far? Indicator 3, tipping fatigue. This is something I've noticed a lot recently, is where people are getting really tired of tipping. Like there's this whole counter tipping movement where people are sick of giving tips to people, which I totally get, because sometimes it seems like tipping is getting a little too far. Like for example, when I go get froyo or whatever, like you do all the work yourself, you get the froyo, you get the toppings, you do everything, and then you weigh it, and then you're asked to tip the person. Like, why are you tipping the person? They didn't do anything, they just watched me do it. But I still tip them because I'm just socially wired to tip people. So I'll give them like a 20% tip and they did nothing to earn it. It's madness. The world we're coming to is madness.
You ever notice how tipping used to feel like a chance to say, hey, you went above and beyond, here's a little extra. Now it feels like just a demand. I just bought a bottle of water today and the screen's already asking me for 20%. 20%, I just went over there and grabbed my own bottle out of the fridge. We've been tipped to death. Everywhere you go, there's a prompt, a coffee shop, fast food, self-checkout. Heck, I'm even expecting the gas pump to ask me for a little tip next time. And you know what's happened because of it? We've reached a point where when we don't get prompted for a tip, it feels like an opportunity, a chance to just pay that number, walk away. No guilt, no awkward moment, just the price of what you bought, and that's it.
Truthfully though, this is the same line of thought that many Americans have, because according to some studies, up to 63% of Americans have a negative view of tipping, which seems insanely high, especially with how often you're told to tip and how often people are telling you tipping is how you save these people's lives. They live on your tips. So how do 63% of Americans have a negative view of tipping? That's kind of wild to me, but I do get it. I do understand. And according to another study, the tip size is also down by approximately 15%. I can't believe I said approximately. That's crazy. I sound smart. But I do believe this is in part to people not only eating out less, but not wanting to tip as much. And this whole tipping thing, like I said, I totally get it, because you are asked for a tip on like everything. Everybody wants a tip for everything. Everybody wants a tip for anything that they do, any action, anything that they do for you. They want a tip, and I really don't get it. I get tipping for good service, like if a waiter gives you really good service, if they're really cool, like I actively want to tip them. But then there's people who, like I said with the froyo example, they don't do anything and then they tip you. Like for example, if I go to Starbucks and ask for a water, why do I need a tip for that? You just gave me a water bottle. What is the tip that you went to the refrigerator and pulled out a water bottle? Is that what I'm tipping you for? You don't need a tip for that. Did you graduate with a degree in taking water out of the fridge? I don't know. It's just crazy. I don't know why you tip someone for that. But the thing is, at the end of the day, it's not even just small things like this that people are spending less money on. It's bigger things too. Point 4. Micro living. So this is a trend that I'm sure a lot of you have seen before, where people are actively buying these tiny little homes, whether it be like a little shed or be the back of a trailer or something. People are converting these spaces into tiny homes to live in. And this is something that's been around for a long time. I mean, I remember seeing this years ago, but it seems like within the last few years, and even the last year in general, this has become way more common. Like I'm hearing more people talk about this.
$1,600. Let's see what we got in less than 1 minute. Welcome to my tiny house. Of course, right when you walk in, guys, you can see it's pretty micro, but it gets the job done. Here's my awesome doormat that I got at an antique shop and stained it up, made it look nice. My flooring was all under $50, and I have multiple videos on that if you're interested. The bed is a twin size mattress that I actually cut to make sure it fits perfectly on my wooden bed platform that me and my grandpa made.
And if I'm being honest, I really do love this trend because I find these tiny spaces super cozy, super comfortable. Like something about them just seems really nice. Like it's just a nice little blanket house kind of thing wrapped around you, which just seems very lovely. And when people do this, it really just shows overall people are prioritizing less of what they want and more of what they need. And what they need is just a place to sleep. Like they're not getting all the bells and whistles of, you know, a big house. Like they don't want a pool or a giant walk-in closet or a staircase in some cases. They really just want a place where they can go home, lay down, and chill out. And in a lot of these micro homes, they don't have a lot of room, but they still have space for everything they need. Like they'll have closets or sinks or bathrooms or whatever. So they make it work. They just don't have all this extra stuff. But the thing with it too that I find super interesting is how scary it seems like it can be. Like just being in such a tiny space, just feet. You're literally just a couple of feet away from the outside world. So if there's a crazy person out there or a crazy wild bear, you're right next to them. And it kind of reminds me of those van life influencers that live in these tiny little vans, and then they go out into the middle of the forest, and then they record a video about how scary things are. Yeah, I mean, that is pretty scary to me. So it kind of is that same concept, but in this mini home. So in your permanent place of residence, it's kind of scary. Just saying, just gonna throw that out there. And this next pop culture recession indicator is actually pretty crazy to me. This is the craziest one to me, but I think it actually can be kind of useful. Indicator 5, Costco weddings. Costco, it's the store where people go to buy 1,000,000 rolls of toilet paper. They go to buy entire pallets of mayonnaise or whatever. I mean, I don't know, whatever you wanna buy. It's wholesale, it's there, you can get it really cheap. It is a very nice store to go to. Then they also have hot dogs, which people really love. I don't get the hype behind them, honestly. I've had them. They're okay. You know, they're cheap. Sure. I don't know. I don't know why people love them so much other than they're cheap. Okay, I don't know. But what's happening with these engaged couples that are planning a wedding, instead of going to these expensive vendors, which sometimes are borderline scams, they go to Costco and get everything they need for way cheaper.
Wedding season is very much here, and not a lot of people know this, but you can actually save thousands of dollars on your wedding just by being a Costco member. We all know that everything really starts to add up, so anywhere that you can save is a huge win. Let's start off with flowers. They're expensive and will probably be thrown out at the end of the night. On average, they cost about $3,000 to $5,000 alone. 20-stem hydrangeas are going to range between $80 to $100. But at Costco, you'll get 24 of the same flowers for $60. That is a huge difference. Now let's talk about printing. Whether it's invitations, save the dates, or signage at your wedding, this will probably cost you around $1,000. But Costco has an amazing partnership with Shutterfly where members can get 51% discount on everything they need printed. That takes a huge dent out of your wedding budget. Now let's talk about how you're going to save on your honeymoon, because I'm sure you probably didn't know that Costco has travel services, and they're actually really good. When I was looking around on Costco's travel site, I found really cheap deals that I could not find anywhere else. And Costco throws in a ton of free stuff too. Okay, so let's say you're going to Hawaii for your honeymoon.
And truth be told, this is such a good hack. Because like I said, wedding vendors are total scams sometimes. Like the moment you say anything is for a wedding, it gets like 1,000,000,000 times more expensive, and it's insane. Like it's just, they steal. They don't steal. I don't want to say they steal, but they try to pinch every ounce of money out of you that they can for your wedding, which is insane. So weddings are just really expensive. And anyways, I don't want to get too far into that, but Costco is the solution to that, and people are using it as a way to buy all of these wedding items that you need, but for way cheaper. And it makes sense to me. Like I get this. I think it's actually a pretty good idea. What's crazy to me about this in principle is that people are outsourcing one of the most important and memorable days of their lives to a wholesale store. And that's Costco. Like imagine if you only had one birthday party your whole life. Like you only got one birthday party and you outsourced it to like McDonald's. That's what it seems like to me. It's crazy, which I know it's not a one-for-one comparison, but I just wanted to throw that out there. It's kind of wild. And this is similar to previous recessions in the sense where people are just spending less on weddings, which I think this is a really interesting thing that's happening in today's culture where you can actively see how people are spending less, and then they're going to Costco to spend less. But what do you think are some other possible pop culture recession indicators? Comment below and let me know, because I really do want to know. So comment below. And then after you comment, watch this video right here if you want to see more wild, crazy things that are going on in the world. But other than that, thank you for watching, and I will see you next time.